On the 8th of July 2018, WWE Raw drew its lowest ever rating of all time, pulling just 2.47 million viewers for the first time in company history. There are no valid excuses for this, but none will likely be forthcoming anyway. WWE acolytes and company insiders will parade their bumper new TV deal as a defense against them ever putting a foot wrong. But it's this divide between corporate and consumer that ultimately drives the disdain and, evidently, the least viewers. This latest dip is not an anomaly. The slow march to this nadir was inevitable, with each baby misstep leading into the next and leaving a disastrous footprint. I'm Andy for What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 terrible decisions that led to WWE Raw's lowest ever rating. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done. Number 10. Hulk Hogan pushes. Roman Reigns hears the audience's weekly jeers because fans decided he wasn't worthy of WWE's main event focus long before he'd even entered his prime. John Cena is the template from which the big dog was sadly formed, and Cena himself was a reincarnation of 80s Hulk Hogan, harnessing his dominance, Superman comebacks, and courage. This character type is now grossly outdated. We saw it with Cena's backlash, and we're seeing it again with Reigns. It'll never work, it's not fair to the performers themselves, it's likely driving people away, and yet, Vince McMahon won't stop trying, because that's his guy. Number 9. The Brock Lesnar problem. It's time for WWE's biggest purplist bellend to go away, because there's only so long a show can go while missing its headliner, and Brock crossed this line a long time ago. He has been a special attraction in the past, and he still carries a semblance of a special aura, but in 2018 his continued absence only makes the heart grow weary. Good matches are outliers against the bad. He neither wrestles or acts like a Universal Champion, and when he does show up, he dominates so much that the suspension of disbelief is neither requested nor required. Raw superstars, meanwhile, are left fighting for nothing at all. Number 8. The third hour. We know the financial incentives are strong. More airtime equals more commercials equals more ad revenue after all, but we can't not mention Raw's length, as it has become a legitimately intimidating watch every single week. While modern Hollywood has never been more averse to cutting fluff from films, good lord, is WWE obsessed with supersizing their shows. DVR and streaming have rendered most live wrestling broadcasts moot anyway. Only other professional sports like the NBA seem immune to viewers migrating from appointment TV to video on demand. So why bother even sitting through the 3 hours of dreck every Monday? It's just not worth it when there are so many other ways to consume the show. Number 7. The business of this business. In counterpoint to the prior entry, Raw's third hour has paradoxically been vital in securing its long-term future. It was a giant leap forward into bulletproof supremacy. Raw's record low viewership would have once raised alarm bells, but WWE are now too busy swimming through rivers of cash like Scrooge McDuck to give a single shit. The creative financial seesaw has been imbalanced, fostering the unique circumstances of a TV company never having paid more for less. Extrapolated further, when this new TV deal comes in with all that money, the customer will never have been more dissatisfied, but the company will have never had to care less. Because money. Number 6. Stephanie McMahon takes over creative. When Stephanie McMahon took WWE's creative reins in late 2000, the show's unparalleled momentum stalled to a halt with almost immediate effect. She wasn't the sole cause of this, nor was she the lone catastrophe in this role, but her strategies, policies, and decisions ultimately oversaw a downturn from what was otherwise a creative and commercial peak for the company. The good times had to end sooner or later, of course, but she will forever be remembered as the person most associated with the speed at which they did. Number 5. Stephanie McMahon takes over everything. This was somehow even worse than her backstage role, with Stephanie's return to TV as a permanent oppressor in 2013, resulting in a minor TV ratings increase, transformed into a permanent decline. Now, she wasn't the only reason for this, but her character's egomaniacal control over every other person on the broadcast has reduced the star aura of virtually everyone she's ever crossed paths with. She's a good performer and was great in the recent Ronda Rousey feud, but that was an anomaly. At her worst, Steph is pure poison. Everybody cowers in her presence, nobody has any self-respect until she disappears from view, and she takes other people's heat without ever giving anything back. Number 4. Bad comedy. Look, not all WWE comedy is bad. With acts like Edge and Christian, Mick Foley, and The Rock, they have produced boatloads of funny shit over the years, but not anymore. These days, the laughs can only be heard in the echo chamber that Vince McMahon lives in. Things like Braun Strowman tipping Kevin Owens from a portaloo are played to Vince's audience of one, and it's horrendous. Think about the worst segments from the past few years, from Bobby Lashley's sisters to the old day. They're all comedy, they all f***ing suck, and they're all part of the ratings downturn. Number 3. Good wrestling. Right, bear with me here. There are those of you who would probably cram every episode with good to great matches every single week. That's your preference and it's fine, but it creates problems too. The week before Raw's lowest episode, WWE had Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler wrestle for 32 minutes to build towards an Iron Man match at Extreme Rules that was 2 minutes shorter. You can see the problems there. When Raw went to 3 hours in 2012, longer matches were necessary just to fill the airtime, but they've weakened the divide between TV and pay-per-views. Now, they're no longer the bait they used to be, and sometimes they're even actively damaging the product. Number 2. Character assassination. Nia Jax went from bully to bullied in the space of a few weeks. Kevin Owens is a sociopathic winner one week and a cowardly loser the next. Finn Balor's character is nothing more than a smiling Irish guy with good abs. Asuka post Ellsworth is an absolute dork, and the list goes on. WWE's character factory is broken. Faces are booked like geeks and can't get over, while heels get booed because they're too wet, not because they're great bad guys. Financially and emotionally, there just aren't enough great characters to invest in, but even when there was, the company punished audiences for allowing themselves to believe, as we're about to find out. Number 1. The Summer of Discontent. CM Punk's pipe bomb was one of the most intoxicating promos in WWE history. The fumes from its fire were absolutely incendiary, dragging back hordes of lapsed fans and completely reinvigorating those who'd suffered through one of the company's most creatively barren periods. But the Summer of Punk was torn down in a way mirroring the ratings collapse, with Kevin Nash, that Triple H loss, and countless other defeats derailing an easy money storyline. Suddenly, the support was gone again. WWE lost an entire generation of supporters in one summer, and they spent the 7 years since trying to figure out how to get them back.